We are here at Dallas Startup Week, sponsored by the Debt Council, and I am Isaac Carter here with my co-host
Fernando Labastida.
And this is the Catalyst Effect. We are here with
Michael Peterson.
Michael Peterson, and you have a really interesting startup. You are Raise a Hood, right?
Yep, that's exactly right.
We've been talking. I met Michael at one of my favorite places, which is, of course, the Food Line. They feed us really good here at Dallas Startup Week. So if y'all are hungry, come on down here tomorrow about this time, and we're going to be here all week. Now, Michael, you've observed that there is a trust gap between people and the folks that maintain and repair their cars. And you believe that technology can help kind of address that gap a little bit. Is that right?
I would even be so bold to say I know that we can make an impact and start closing that gap. You know, and the backstory a little bit on this, I think, is, and by the way, the reason I'm here is we won the Dallas Startup Week last year.
Awesome.
And
Wow.
so they invited us back to sit on the panel, and so it's fun to come back and see the startups come through. But the premise for us is my father was a mechanic.
Okay.
And so I grew up that's how I got to know my father, was tinkering on cars. And but he used to tell me that I couldn't find the right end of a screwdriver. So instead of becoming a mechanic, I ended up going to engineering school. Exactly. That's exactly right. I had a downgrade.
Oh, that's amazing. My dad would have so many jokes about that.
Oh, it's true.
If you can't fix a car, design them.
Yeah. And so I and I was pretty good at being an engineer, despite what my father told me when I was 8. But after business school, I was at Ford for 7 or 8 years, and after business school, I went into high tech. But one of the things I noticed was this, which is if you take a vehicle to a mechanic, and that mechanic knows that platform fairly well, people do this all the time. They'll go to a party and they'll go, "Oh, John, you're a mechanic. I'm having a problem with my Toyota or my Ford or whatever it is." And they're looking for free guidance.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the mechanic will have a 3-minute conversation with that individual, and he will be able to, and I say he because 98% of the mechanics out there are he's, he will be able to tell you what's wrong with that vehicle with 90% accuracy in about 3 minutes.
Yep.
If you reverse that, and I put you on the web and do 4 hours of the research, you'll come in and you'll get it right about 20% of the time.
Yeah.
And so what we said is, can we use artificial intelligence to get that up to that 80 or 90%, so you can predict what's wrong with the vehicle before you bring it to the shop? And once I do that, now I can improve this trust factor between the two. Because if an AI engine is telling me you need ball joints, and the mechanic's telling me I need ball joints, and all of this lines up, you go, okay, this seems like a
Probably
fair...
need to get ball joints.
I probably need to get ball joints.
And
Exactly
especially if
right.
the AI can tell me roughly what it should cost in my area, and if there was also some auxiliary. If you're changing ball joints, you probably need shocks. You probably need brake pads. You got to take it apart.
And a lot of that depends as well on the vehicle, the region, the make, the model, a whole bunch of factors. And that's where AI becomes super powerful.
Yeah.
Right. As you know, in this space, AI is wonderful. We all think very well in a 3 or 4 dimensional world because that's what we live in.
Yeah.
Right. So we can see the correlation between mileage and the probability you need ball joints and everything else. AI is wonderful because we can blend together 100,000 different independent variables to make some predictions that just aren't fundamentally possible in the old realm.
Yeah.
And that's where it gets really interesting, I think. And it's one of the cases within AI where we're helping out customers, we're helping out the best shops, and we're making the overall ecosystem work a little bit more efficiently.
Yeah. I have a funny story. When I was in college, I went to Mike, my mechanic.
Yeah.
And friend of the family forever. And I went and I'm like, "Hey, Mike, change my back brake pads." And he changed my brake pads. And then I leave and I come back. I'm like, "Hey, it's still grinding." He's like, "Oh, yeah, well, those are the front brake pads." And I know he was teaching me a lesson. I should have gone to him and said, "I have a grind. Can you tell me what it is?" Instead, I didn't say that.
Here's the answer. Do it.
Yeah, I said, "Change my brake pads." And he changed the brake pads exactly like I asked him to. And I walked away with a very valuable lesson. Professionals exist for a reason, and I need to trust him.
Yes. So how did you come up with are you the founder, CEO?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
perfect.
yes. Yeah.
So what was it that kind of triggered the idea for this platform?
It's a great question. I think just because my father was a mechanic, I have an affinity for the trade.
Right.
And when I speak to mechanics, by and large, they're not very technically savvy. They're not digitally savvy really at all. And,
That's interesting.
I mean, they are on a vehicle.
Right,
But
yeah.
when it comes to their digital footprint and whatnot, that's not what they do. There's a large number of SaaS businesses out there that are all designed to help them make the business run more efficiently, which is great. How do I bring more customers in the door? How do I drive upsell? How can I improve my COGS? And,
Yeah.
all this, which is all wonderful, but it's all working on behalf of making the shop stronger. The question we saw is, and we did some independent research on this before we built the company, once your car falls out of warranty, 76% of the people don't trust the pricing or
Yeah.
trust the shop when they walk in the door. Now think about that. 75% of the customers don't trust you when they walk in the door, but they're in the door because they have to be.
Yep.
And so, can we build something that helps consumers, right, improve their expectations and ensure they're getting a fair deal? At the same time, how do you help the best shops out there? Because there's some great shops out there.
Yeah.
There's also some shops out there that prove that there's low barriers to entry of opening a shop.
Right.
And how do you differentiate between the two?
Yeah, I was talking to a guy the other day. He wants to open a shop, and he's like, "Oh, 15 grand, you can open a shop. You can rent a building that already has a
Has a lift in it or
already has
whatever.
a lift, and I can." He's able to access some grant money, so he's able to open a shop, and it wouldn't cost him anything.
Yeah.
And
And there's a huge shortage of mechanics as well. So
Yeah.
they're going to lend him the money and he'll open a shop.
yeah,
And he might be a great mechanic. He might not be.
yeah, yeah, and hopefully there's. We are capitalistic people here, so we believe that the free market will eventually weed out the bad ones. And,
Yep, I agree.
Another issue is a lot of people the baby boomers are starting to retire.
Yeah.
And a lot of the old school mechanics can look at a car and know what's wrong with it. Right? And I've said this before. You've got, I learned this at a business conference last week. You have five years in the season, 15 years in the cycle. A lot of these mechanics have been around for 3 or 4 seasons. They're seasoned, and they know. Oh, hey, yeah, all right, yeah, ball joints or tie rod ends or something. They know exactly how to approach that. Diagnosing a vehicle, especially a modern vehicle, for a 20-year-old kid just out of tech school, that's a challenge. Even though they're a professional, it's still a challenge. So having the fact that AI, they can help my wife know that that the oil change place is gonna screw her. That's great. But I think that there's more opportunities there to support the shops in ensuring that the diagnosis is done correctly.
Well, you bring up some great points, and they're all true. One of the gentlemen on our team, his name is Caleb Parrington, and he runs one of the tech schools, one of the larger tech schools in the country. He's trained over 10,000 mechanics over the course of his career, and he recognizes these problems firsthand.
Yeah.
And he'll tell you, I get a student for 12 months, 15 months, 18 months, whatever it may be, and by the time they leave, they're better than when they came.
Yeah.
But they're not fully ready for prime time. I'm stuffing as much in them as I can. But the problem is he's not getting more time to train.
Yeah.
And the cars are getting more complicated. So that gap between the knowledge of the junior mechanic to the complexity of the average car is getting larger and larger.
Yeah.
And what I saw, which was fascinating, when I first started to build this business, and my co-founder, who's not here today, I'll introduce you at some point. His name is Dr. Nunnally. And Patrick has 125 patents to his name, many of which are in AI. Our patent on Gus, our AI engine, is number 126 for him, so he knows more about AI than I ever will, by far.
Wow.
But the net is, when we first started to build this, I would speak to mechanics, and we had a team of about 15 of them working for us for a while. And most mechanics would say, AI is never going to be smarter than mechanic. I've been doing this thing all my life. I know what to look for. I know what it smells like. I know what it looks like. I know
What it sounds like.
What
Maybe
it sounds
it's
like.
not smarter than a seasoned mechanic, but how
And
many
so
of those are there?
But these mechanics would say, "Oh, you can't do it, right? You can't do it. It's never going to work." Okay, as a founder, you take the feedback. And, you forge ahead. And then we released the first version of Gus, and it was based a lot on not only large data files but also the seasoned feedback of mechanics, where it would start to predict what the mechanics fed into it, right? And the mechanics would then go, "Well, listen, I wouldn't use it, but maybe the junior mechanics would use it,
Right.
Like, okay, I'm in the ballpark now. And now it's matured, and mechanics that are using it go, well, I don't really need it, but it helps me get in the right headspace just to make sure I'm not overlooking something. I mean, you can see them starting to soften to realize,
Wow.
it's a really powerful tool.
And if you can diagnose faster, that means you can fix more cars.
That's exactly
and that
right.
means you make more money.
And for most shops, if you look at a shop, and I mean, who's your mom's, was it Russ? Your mom's mechanic? You know, Russ is a great mechanic because he looks at your mother as a lifetime customer.
Right.
Right? He's not trying to optimize the sale. He's trying to optimize her satisfaction because he knows he's going to have her for 10 or 20 or 30 years.
Yeah, let's tell that story. My mom lived in a small town in Georgia, and her car was making a funny sound, and she says, "I'm gonna take my car to Russ, not to the shop, not to the mechanic, not to the dealership, to Russ."
Right. Who she sees every Sunday at school, at church.
Yeah, so they have a relationship. He's a part of the community. She's a part of their community. They have that trust factor just from that. But then this is a trusted service provider. I mean, that trust factor, that community factor, is largely missing today anyway on all trades. Real estate agents, even doctors, like across the board, it's really hard to find that you have a community of service providers that work with you. I'd love to see some of that come back.
You know, what you say really puts a smile on my face because I'll tell you, we're trying to do two things. Number one is the AI side of it, which is fun and it's dorky, and I get to be a tech weenie, and we have a lot of data, and it's all great, and it's going to be wonderful. Mm-hmm. But the other side of it is what you suggest. And so if you go onto our website, raiseahood.com, and we're only really live in primarily Phoenix right now. We're starting to expand, and Dallas is on our radar.
Okay, I was going to ask you about your market penetration, but go ahead.
He's going to ask you to go to market strategies because that's who he is.
And we can talk about all of that. But even with on our site is, if you say I'm driving a Ford with such and such a problem, it says, well, here's the shops we'd recommend.
Yeah.
And you can see what their Raise a Hood reviews are like, what their Google reviews are like. You can see what their certification score is. So we certify all these shops so you can see their strengths and their weaknesses. We publish their pricing model so you can see what their hourly rate looks like and compare it to other shops. And it's all right there at your fingertips. But the other rule we have is when you open up their profile, it's not a picture of their building. It's always a picture of the general manager.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so everything is a face. There's not a building shown. It's all the face. And so if you're going to go work at this shop, you should be talking to Bobby or Russ. And we're trying to bring that back together. And so even the outline of the shop is written more like a news article than it is marketing promotion. We're not trying to be a marketeer. We're trying to tell their backstory.
Okay, so that's music to my ears.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
And we do it in a very authentic way because what we find, like every startup founder, we all have a backstory.
Yeah.
Right, which is generally more exciting than what you see on the website. It's just the way it always fleshes out.
Exactly.
And these shops, go on to any shop website out there, and it's like, hey, we do brakes and suspension. We're open from 9 to 5. Give us a call. Click here. You know, they
blah,
all
blah,
look the
blah.
same.
Mm-hmm.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Here's a picture of an engine block.
Right.
Like somebody really cares. What customers care about is Russ.
Yeah.
And so what we try to do is bring Russ forward and tell a story that nobody else can. Not only on their website, but then we publish some other articles as well to help expand their digital footprint and make them more accessible and easy to find.
That's actually very parallel to what experience I had when I was working for a CPG packaging company, right? And usually CPG packaging companies have pictures of their machines and the sheets of the plastic that they use to make the packaging. What we did is we put pictures of entrepreneurs who are starting dog food companies or healthy snack companies, smiling, the husband and wife in the kitchen or in the garage making the food. It's not exactly the same kind of, feeling that you're talking about here for,
And you can tell when you look at our pictures, they're not stock photos. They're pictures of Russ.
Yeah, it's the actual
It might be imperfect,
guys.
and it's just,
Yeah.
exactly what it's going to be when they showed up. We had a great shop in Phoenix that I thought was to me, it was a heartwarming story. It's called Chio's. And you would never even find Chio's because it's in a little bit of a seedy area.
Right.
And it's tucked behind another building, and there's no sign out front. And one of the guys in the area who actually used to own a shop, and then he said, I want to come work for you guys. And he goes, after I sold my shop, this is where I bring my car.
The Chios.
To Chio's.
Right.
And you go to Chio's, and it's Mr. Chio and Mrs. Chio and son Izzy L. Chio, and it's, small family, and they built this platform, and there's, the bathrooms are, 50 feet away, and there's no cappuccino maker, and, there's no Wi-Fi. But they had a great story. It was just this hard-working family story.
Right.
And if you look at the Google reviews, they're amazing. And, when a mechanic brings their car to another mechanic, you go, okay, this is somebody I should trust. And their labor rate was lower than any other labor rate we had recorded.
Right.
At an hourly level. They didn't even have a website. And so they said, instead of building a website, we just want to be on your platform, and that's how people find them.
Wow.
And so when they run a Facebook ad, or however they want to drive demand, they just drive them right to onto our platform. They're like, well, that's everything the customer needs to know. Why do I need to spend money on a website? I'm just going to be on Razor.
And there's a lot of, especially in rural areas, there's going to be a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you something about your go-to-market strategy. So you really started out in Phoenix, right?
Yep.
So what's the reasoning behind starting in one, metropolitan area, and then what are your plans to expand out of there into the rest of the United States?
Great question. And so I think there's certainly a scale that you need to have before this works. Because if you can just say, hey, what shop can you bring it to? Well, there's one shop. No, not a lot of comparison to go on. So we only go after the upper 20% of shops in a particular area.
Okay.
And so we pre-filter, and then amongst the top 10 or 20%, you can kind of select among those. But it allows you to do some research that otherwise you can't find that information anywhere. You're not going to find labor rates out there. You're not going to see certification scores, et cetera. So we try to make it easier for you to make a decision what the best shop is for your particular needs. But your question was more around go-to-market?
Yes. Yeah.
And so we go after one particular area, and then we can use go-to-market tools. We do a lot of work on social media just to get them to the shop finder.
Right.
And so now I can get them to go look at your profile as a shop, and we just charge a flat fee per month, which is fairly modest.
Right.
But I can compare that to what it would cost you if you're going to just buy Google clicks. And these, I would argue, are people further down that funnel.
Right.
Like they're trying to make a decision. Do I bring it to shop A or shop B? That's a great customer to have. And so I can bring them awareness, click-through reviews at a rate of 50 to 70% less than what they're going to be paying on the Google base.
Yeah, that's
basis.
fantastic. That's fantastic.
So it's a win for us. It's a win for the shop. And it's a win for the customer.
So you're live.
We're live.
So you're not beta mode anymore. You're past test. You're
I feel like I'm always in the beta test mode.
Yeah.
Like any founder, you're like, I can do better. I can do better.
At some point, are you going to be able to say, okay, I can run Dallas and Atlanta now at this, and then start like
We
increasing
can,
your
and I
speed?
think we want to get to the point of ensuring that. I think there's two things that you need to overcome. Number one is the marketing outreach, and we've tried a number of things, and marketing is hard in today's environment.
yes.
Right. And you have to find the right balance of SEO and SEM and, blah, 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 and get that
And then
thing
now,
dialed.
get found by ChatGPT and Claude, et cetera, exactly.
Correct. And so part of it is optimizing that. As you grow this, you want to make sure you're at the point where I know if I put another $2 of marketing on this end, I'm going to get $4 of revenue out the other end, whatever that number
Predictable
looks like.
revenue.
Predictable revenue. And so that's one of the things that we're starting to work through, or we are working through. And I don't think we've totally cracked the code yet, but we're getting much closer.
Yeah, I
with
wouldn't think that
KPIs.
you would off of just one market anyway. So
No, because there is that scale piece, which really helps. But you can look at one city and say, okay, is this thing starting to work or not? The second thing is how do you acquire these shops efficiently?
yeah,
Because within these shops, most of these shops, they're not very trusting.
Right.
I don't know if you've ever. I keep picking on your mom's friend Russ, mechanic, but
I'll never even get him to use a spreadsheet.
yeah, that exact. So I come in and I come in with a suit and tie and go, hey, I got this great SaaS platform. They go, just leave me alone. I mean,
Yeah, now, you got to go in there with Jersey Mike's.
Yes, and I mean, if I do a digital campaign, it's useless.
Yep.
If I show up with Jersey Mike's, it's better. If I have a warm recommendation from somebody in the area that says, hey, I trust these guys, you should too, and I have a warm intro, then it's a completely different conversation. So for a lot of these cities, it's trying to find who the local influencers are who are often retired mechanics. They sold their business.
I was going to say that ex-mechanics, you know.
Have you talked to Snap-on Tools?
No, we have not yet.
So Snap-on has software products that they
Yep.
provide to
Yep.
dealerships and mechanic garages. There isn't a mechanic in the world that doesn't trust Snap-on. Maybe they can't afford them. There's a joke that the very first person that ever bought a screwdriver from Snap-on is 96 years old, and he just made his final payment. But so they trust to the point where they are paying a premium for those tools, and they know that if anything ever happens to that Snap-on tool, they're going to get a new one. And Snap-on is in every dealership in North America.
And they
have
make
some
nice
sort of
stuff.
Nice stuff. They listen to them.
Snap-on's good. Matco's good. I mean, there's a couple of good ones out there. I think
I'm an Arbor Freight guy personally. Go Pittsburgh. But I'm not making a living with my tools.
And actually now, some of the mechanics will tell you that even the intermediate tools that aren't Snap-on are pretty good.
Yeah.
And they're a fraction of the price of some of the pro stuff.
Yeah, but that doesn't help you.
That doesn't help.
The fact that there are other service providers that have relationships with mechanic shops.
And I think what's good for us is when we look at this sector as a whole, there's a number of people servicing the shops today, whether they are digital SaaS providers of repair manuals or website hosting, or your hardware providers, whether it's the tools, the parts, or whatever it may be. We're a little bit unique because we're not trying to tell you how to do a better job running your shop. We're trying to tell you how to do a better job taking care of your customers before they show up.
Yeah.
So when you show up, you go, "Hey, I hear you're Russ. It's nice. I read your profile. You've got great reviews. I know you always treat everybody, whatever it may be. You want to bring them in at a level of trust, and shops want more customers. And so if we can shuffle more customers from the intermediate shops and lower shops to the good shops, that's a win-win." Mm-hmm. And so longer term, anytime you're building a business, what are you concerned about? You got to sell the business. You got to liquidate it at some point.
Even if you're not going to sell the business. So we just talked to somebody that helps people with their exits. That's what they do. Yeah. For me, I'm never.
And when I say liquidate, I mean an exit.
Yeah, and for me, I'm never exiting, but I still have to create value. I'm going to die at some point. My daughter or family are going to have to come in and take over. But I have to build value, and correct. I need to know that I can at some point exchange that value for.
And that's where I think our solution is interesting because it complements many of the other providers that are out there. And so the way we look at this is how do we get enough of that volume and momentum so that we can be kind of a plug-in into some of these larger platforms that are out there, and then it improves your scale and your efficiency and your reach and your sales model and so all the core elements.
For me, I believe heavily in affiliate marketing, in affiliate sales. So for me, I'm always thinking, hey, this is not an easy sale. Who else is already doing business with them?
Correct.
And then can I build a relationship with one or two companies and then have access to a huge network?
Yeah.
And that's just, I'm a data guy. For me, that just makes sense.
Yeah.
And I've also got to think that mechanics, though, are also watching YouTube videos at some point in their time. Like on their, between car repairs, maybe they're pulling out YouTube and they're looking at something political or something funny or some other mechanic who has some kind of trick, And so, maybe building a presence on YouTube, building a YouTube channel featuring all these the Russes of the world, that are having success with a razor hood or something like that.
It's interesting. We have a YouTube channel. Uh-huh. And we've tried a variety of things. I've been on a number of podcasts over the years, and there's some great podcasters that build shorts and whatnot, and you throw them out there, and you can get a ton of views on these shorts.
Right.
Yeah, but
right. They're empty calories.
Yeah.
They're empty calories.
Empty calories. They're not converting.
They're not converting.
Okay.
We also, for a while, we built the original platform in the BC model that said, okay, it's going to predict what's wrong with your vehicle, and then it's going to show you the actual video repair. And what tools to buy and what parts to buy, and we built
and teach them how to fix it themselves.
And we were recording mechanics doing the actual repair. We'd culminate that down to every step. We called it the Betty Crocker cookbook formula because it's like, okay, take off this bolt, tighten this to 42 foot-pounds, whatever. It's very straightforward. Anybody can follow it. And every step was about 15 seconds long, and then it automatically pauses. So you could literally watch the video and just follow it step by step, like baking a cake. Super easy.
Yep.
And we built those, and we tried it, and the feedback was good. The challenge is you can't compete with YouTube. Mm-mm. I mean, YouTube University. Right? People just go, I have a problem. They're not coming to us. They're going to search it on YouTube.
Yeah.
And the video may be shit. excuse me, video may be
No.
subpar.
You're good.
Keep on.
The video may not be great, but it's functional enough.
Yeah.
And so we actually ultimately I think we put all of them out there. We put a bunch of them out there on YouTube. So we're doing, I don't know, 10, 15,000 hits a month on YouTube right now. But it's almost all repair videos. And I don't think we're hardly getting much traction out of it at all because they're primarily DIYers.
Yeah.
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 For me, I know how to change my U-joints.
Yep.
I'm not going to do it. I have a venture studio. I have a podcast. I have a baby and a 3-year-old, and I have a lot going on in my life. I would love to have time to sit down there and repair my own vehicle, but we were talking about now. I don't even want to wait for a mechanic to fix my car anymore. I'm not even dropping that thing off. I need my car. I have cars with warranties, so for me. My mom's car, my sister's car, whatever, I'll help them. But what I really want to do is, hey, it sounds like this. Take it here.
And what we find in that spectrum, because we were trying to do the calculations, like how many people do their own car repair. And it's clearly, you're not changing your own, most people aren't changing their own transmission, but a lot of people change their own oil. So there's a continuum out there. I get that. By and large, about 15% of the people out there still do their own automotive repair. We find a lot of folks, though, that like the idea of being able to do it themselves because they feel like when they go to the shop, they're being succumbed by the man, right?
Yeah.
The systems is beating them.
Right.
And so we find a lot of people go, hey, I'm going to do this myself. I got this. And then you see the video and they have to pull out the blowtorch to take off the first bolt and they go, okay, I'm out.
Yeah.
And so while the aspiration may be high, the skill set, the tools, the facilities, and everything else is low. So there's not that many people that flip over and do it themselves, which is actually important because that if I'm a shop and I go, hey, your ball joint's broken. They go, okay, my ball joint's, I still need it fixed.
Yeah.
It's not like you gave me the answer and I don't need to go back. I still need to get it fixed.
Yeah. Ball joints you need to press. I don't have that tools.
And so we even structure it. One of the biggest concerns of the shops are, if you bring your car in for service, generally they're going to say, okay, we'll do the diags, and the diags are $149. It's kind of a common number. I don't know what it is in Dallas. I think a little less than that. But maybe not.
It's more than that.
Is it more than that? It depends on whether you're at a dealership, independent, et cetera. But, that's a high margin activity. Now, it still gets peanut butter spread across the rest of the P&L. So it's not like it's a get-rich-quick scheme, but it's an important part of their P&L. They don't want to give that up. And so what we have found works best is we have not had one customer escalate saying, well, the AI engine said such and such. Why are you charging me a diag? We're very clear that this is a preliminary diagnostics. Let's measure twice, cut once. And so what we
it's the same scenario as when I told them to change the back brake pads. I did a preliminary.
That's exactly right.
You don't want to go in and change something because the AI said to, and then that's not actually.
So what we actually do to level set expectations with most shops is we say, hey, bring in your results. It saves us a little bit of time. We'll knock $25 off your diags. Now, what you've done is it's a small savings.
Yeah, it's a coupon.
But it's kind of a coupon, and more importantly, you're setting the expectations as you still need a diagnostic done on this.
Yeah.
Right. So we create it as a win-win. So we're not trying to circumvent the authority because even as an AI expert, we can't determine with 100% accuracy what the problem is until you do a full inspection.
So you're talking about the confidence, that the faith in the shops is lower than ever. I 3 years ago bought my first brand new truck.
Nice.
I had a 2004 Ford F350 Super Duty that I had bought from auction and fixed and put it on the road, and I was towing a trailer going down the Vail Pass in Colorado, 10,000 pound trailer behind me.
Your brakes failed?
No, worse. I tried to put it in second gear and it won't go. So I'm on the brakes and I set the trailer brakes on fire. And I was able to YouTube and find out that there's a shackle underneath there and tighten it up with a torque screwdriver on the side of the road, and I'm able to finish my thing. So then I go sell a truck, I buy a new truck. 2 months later, I'm in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and the oil light flashes up and I can't get it into a Ram dealership. Take it to Goodyear in Chattanooga, Tennessee. They put it up on a lift, drop my brand new truck off the lift, and then say, oops, sorry, here are the keys. Oil changes on us.
What?
And I'm sitting there with a roll of duct tape trying to get my brand new truck back on the road. And they're like, somebody from claims is going to call you. And you know how long it took for me to get a hold of somebody at Claims for Goodyear?
Months?
3 months.
Jesus.
Yeah. And I have a rental car at that point. I'm like,
Yeah.
what am I going to do? And they won't even pay for the rental car. So for me, these big companies where you think brand recognition and all this, they're not standing beside their customer. Not like Russ would. Not like your neighborhood mechanic who, if they had dropped a truck off the lift, they're calling their insurance and they're
And
taking
more
care of their
importantly, they're
customer.
probably not dropping it off the list to begin
Yeah.
with.
Yeah.
These things happen. I'm not upset that this happened. I'm upset that my concern was, okay, when something does go wrong, I feel much more confident knowing that a well-rated and vetted local mechanic is going to take care of
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's our objective, is how do we find those Russes that are out there
Yeah.
and help them bring their story to life to drive more demand and allow them to prosper and let them do what they do best and allow us on the tech side to help drive more demand and do a better job, even a better job, taking care of their customers before the customer even shows up to the shop.
Awesome. I'm really excited about this because I love when I see AI that increases the human experience.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you're talking about doing, rebuilding trust in professionals and allowing the kind of the bedrock of the community, the local business, to have even more visibility than some of the larger businesses that are less likely to stand behind their customer.
And the thing I think I personally feel good about is number one, and I'm sure you bump into them individuals that go, oh, AI, it's going to be the end. There's pros and cons to AI. We all understand that. But there's certainly people that take it, the glass is half empty
Yes.
when it comes to AI.
They're all over the place.
They're all over the
Oh,
place.
yes. Every technology.
And so they'll ask me, oh, what are you doing? I go, well, I lead a startup that I founded and has an AI engine, and blah, blah. And they're like, oh, bad man.
Yeah.
And they go, what does your AI do? And we say, well, it helps you predict what's wrong with your vehicle before you bring it to the shop, so you're better empowered to make smarter decisions and reduce your cost of car ownership. And they go, well, that AI is okay. I mean, all the other AI is bad, but this...
Yeah.
But it's a great example where does create a win-win, and it fixes a consumer problem. And for the average consumer out there we're all fortunate, and we've done fairly well financially, I would assume. For the average customer, a consumer, the American, the second most valuable asset they have in their life is a vehicle.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The second most valuable asset. And so when that thing goes sideways, this is a big major issue.
Yeah, and if you take into consideration the fact that most Americans were living paycheck to paycheck, we have to get to work. And that vehicle is not just an asset, it's their...
Well, they depend on it.
It's their ability to interact with commerce, with community. That we don't have a small... So it's hugely important.
Yeah.
And whenever people come and talk to me about, AI is bad, or all technology is bad, I don't like it, I ask people, hey, one of the biggest technology innovations of the 17th century was oven. Do you have an oven in your home?
Last I checked, yeah.
You cooking meth? Yeah, you can use it for bad things, but you can also use it for very, very good things. And my wife is a baker. When she bakes her cakes and she puts it in the oven, who baked it? My wife or the oven?
Well, I think your wife would say she baked it.
Yes, it's the same thing with AI. I'm using the tool to elevate my business, and I'm doing good things with it. And people are out there doing bad things with it, and they'll face the consequences.
And that's true for any technology. It does bring up some and I'm sure you've had smarter guests than I talking about where all of this leads. And the piece that I find fascinating, and I'll just be controversial for a second.
Sure.
Right, is are you guys Johnny Cash fans at all?
I am.
Rain of Fire.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'll walk the line.
My mother brought me up listening to Johnny Cash.
And his old stuff was almost better than his young stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The final couple albums. Anyway, he sang that one song, John Henry.
Yeah.
Right? Working the coal mine, and the whole song is about him being better than the machine. Right? The whole song is about being better than the machine, and I think it's actually a very old song from the beginning of the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah, it's based on a poem.
It's based on a poem, and it's a wonderful song, but it's all about him being stronger than the machine. In the end, he won. He beat the machine, but he ended up dying.
Yeah.
But But when that happened, we were fearful of automation. We were fearful of industrialization taking over the jobs of the middle class. Now, last time I checked, the coal mines are being dug by machines, not John Henry's.
Right.
Right. So the machines won. But what happened is all of that talent, that general labor, moved up market.
Yeah,
Right?
this is exactly what I believe.
Yeah, this
it
is
all
what I've been
moved-
saying.
Yeah.
It all moved up market. It was all good. AI is interesting, though, and I don't know the answer, but what's interesting about AI is within AI, my daughter graduated from college last 2 months ago, University of Arizona. Super proud of her, a bunch of other kids. Great, we were at the ceremony. I'm looking out over the stadium and 9,000 kids and graduating, hoopla and fireworks. It's all great, right?
Wow. Yeah.
Almost every one of those AI engines that was talked about today was probably smarter than 95% of the kids on that graduation floor for most tasks.
Right.
Right? So what's happening now is AI is coming in, and it's actually smarter intellectually than this entering class. And where in the old industrial revolution, it forced people up, right? Because it took the lower level jobs. AI is now taking the higher level jobs. Now, one would argue through capitalism that we will find better ways to apply human intelligence. But it's going to be an interesting, AI is going to make it an interesting 20 years ahead of us.
Every industrial revolution has been painful.
Yeah.
In the end, I do believe that we
I'm an optimist
come out
with
being
you.
better.
Yep.
I do think it's going to cause pain. And
gonna
I think
cost them,
we've
yeah.
seen some. I don't know how long that pain's going to take. I know Fernando and I are leveraging it in a way that elevates our communities, and you
Yeah,
are as well.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But I know other people won't be. And I have a small company. I have replaced some folks with if I have to go to you and tell you exactly what to do, how to do it, and then measure to see if it was done correctly, and then you're going to wait for the next task, well, guess what? I can replace you with a
AI.
custom GPT. And it's not even that hard, and it's going to be more accurate, and I don't have to pay you for the time that you're not doing it. So in those cases, hey, if these folks, and there's somebody I liked very much who that's what she was doing, and I replaced her.
I think there's a new thing that's being used out there, kind of a new slogan or a new term, that humans still have taste. So the differentiator is that AI, between AI and humans, is that humans have taste, right? So that we can make a decision that'll appeal to the taste of other humans that
Yeah.
think like us or
Yeah.
that have a particular niche that we're appealing to.
And I think what you really have to do today is you have to make sure that you are contributing value individually, and that value is not based off of how hard you work or exactly what effort you perform, but based off of the knowledge and capabilities that you bring to the table.
Right.
I don't think I'm not concerned about AI replacing my job personally. As a founder, I'm not concerned that I will no longer have a place or a way to interact with commerce. I do think that there are some people that are not necessarily bringing that value to the table, and we all have to learn how to continuously bring value to the table, or we're on the line.
Yeah.
Well said.
All right.
Very well said.
Awesome. All right. Well, I am about ready to call an end to my day here at Dallas Startup Week. It's been
So
a
nice to
beautiful
meet
day.
you.
Thanks for the invitation to join you guys. This is
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, glad I bumped into you in line up there.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
great. Okay. Take care, guys.
Good to see you.
Cheers.